Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another figure review. Today we're going to be taking a look at another Jurassic World figure from Mattel, and that is the Jurassic World Rebirth Frenzy Pack Archaeornithomimus. So yes, that's a very mouthful of a dinosaur name, but it is a very cool one because it's a brand new species from Mattel, and you know me, I like collecting all the species, and I'm really excited to have this new one in hand. So yeah, I recently acquired this one, and I'm really looking forward to it. So it's really cool how we finally have an Archaeornithomimus, another Ornithomimosaur, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Package-wise, it's pretty much your standard Frenzy Pack packaging with the Spinosaurus and the, the logo and all that stuff. Then on the back, it shows you just a bunch of information, the FAQSAP stuff, as well as the others of this line. This is part of the Wave 2 assortment of these Frenzy Packs. I've acquired all of the Wave 1 figures, at least the ones I wanted. I think the one I skipped out on was the Proceratosaurus. For this one, I need to get all four because all four are all different species. So I've so far only acquired one out of the four, which is the Archaeornithomimus. I'm still missing these three species, and hopefully I'll be able to find those at some point because they're all ones I want in my collection. But yeah, so let's go ahead and take out this figure. We'll just do it on the camera real quick since these guys are really easy to take out. Just like that. Alright, and just like that, it just pops right on out. Okay, so here we have our Archaeornithomimus, and overall, this is a really nice figure. I definitely would say that this figure is both good and bad at the same time. It's good because, well, it's a new species, and it's finally another Ornithomimosaur, because the only ones we've had from that family group was Gallimimus. So it's really awesome to have another Ornithomimosaur from Mattel. I mean, those are the only good things for this figure, for the most part. The bad thing is this is not a very good representation of an Ornithomimosaur in general. Not just Archaeornithomimus, but your standard Ornithomimosaur. This is definitely not, I guess, the right path I would have taken if I was making a figure of one. Just by looking at it, if you didn't know the name of this guy, this actually would look like some sort of Troodon, actually, with the larger eyes, the crouching position, the feathers, except for it would need the toe claw. But when you look at this figure, nothing about it screams Ornithomimosaur. So that's kind of where this figure kind of flunks a little bit, but also there's some things within the sculpt itself that just are not key features of an Ornithomimosaur. And I don't know a whole lot about the certain anatomy of this type of dinosaur compared to others like Gallimimus. There might be difference in head shape or something like that, but all of these dinosaurs overall share the same body plan, except for things like the Dinochirus, because that one's just a much different type of Ornithomimosaur. But overall, I mean, it's a really nicely detailed, sculpted figure and nice colors. I just think it poorly demonstrates what an Ornithomimosaur is. Like I said, this would have worked as a Troodon. But anyways, taking a look at the detail here, it's really nice though, because on the face, I like how it's kind of smooth on the front, kind of symbolizing like a beak, possibly. It's very bird-like, I would say, and you got a lot of nice scales around the head region, even here on the lower jaw. And then the entire body is pretty much covered in feathers, except for some patches of skin, which are nicely detailed with the scales. Even here, you got some skin that's just some rough skin texture rather than scales. Even here on the side of the body. On the underside, it's just kind of like that lined texture in the skin. But you got some more pebbled scales all throughout the entirety of the body, basically where there are no feathers, even here on this side as well. And then you got the nice detail in the feathering, which look really, really good, sharp and crisp, I would say, because they're just highlighted very nicely, sculpted very nicely on this figure, which is why, like, if someone were to repaint this one, the feathers would stand out very nicely. And so yeah, the feathers, really nice detail in the sculpt inside each individual feather, which is amazing. You can see here on the arms and all over the legs and the thighs, even all over the back. Just nice amount of feathering. And I also like here too, it's primarily just a bunch of feathering, but you got like small patches of skin right there, showing that it's not like a full-on feathered animal. He's got some little rough patches of skin showing here and there. So I really like that a lot. And I'm not sure if these are feathers up here. Yeah, I think they are, because the way the lines within each of these little protrusions right here, I think these are just feathers. They're just kind of sticking up, maybe like a little feathered crest or something. I really like the little tuft of feathers here on the underside of the neck or the throat area, which is really cool. And some more nice larger feathers here towards the back end, which look really nicely done as well. And it's really nice too how Mattel's given us a feathered ornithomimosaur, because Gallimimus in the Jurassic movies are not feathered. So it's really cool to have a feathered one, because a lot of the modern reconstructions of these dinosaurs are usually portrayed with feathers, kind of like how you would think of an ostrich. So it's really cool. I especially love how Mattel gave this Ornithomimosaur some feathered wings, even though they're not super large like modern reconstructions, but they're there. So I'd say that counts for sure. But yeah, overall, really nicely done. Just the overall sculpt of the figure. It's a shame that it doesn't really portray an Ornithomimosaur that well, I would say. But, you know, it is what it is. I really like the eyes, too, the nice slit pupil. They probably would have had eyes kind of similar to modern birds in real life, just the large rounded pupils. They just give it a slit because that's what a lot of Jurassic Park dinosaurs have. I don't really have a problem with that, but that's why it almost looks like it would work for a Troodon, too, in some cases. But, yeah, overall, really nicely done in the sculpt. I know I've said that already. But as you can see here on the arms, look nicely done as well, with some nice muscle definition through the arms and some really nice sharp claws. I really like that too. And some nice little scoots on the fingers. Also like here on the neck, some little folds of the skin, even here on the side of the body, kind of like where the muscles or just folds in the skin are, even here across the tail. The legs are nicely done as well. A little bit of some muscles kind of poking through the skin. Got the little kneecap area. The legs could have been maybe a tad bit longer to kind of signify your standard Ornithomimosaur legs, but it's nothing really to worry about in my opinion. The feet look nicely done too. Really nice amount of scales and detail on the scoots on each toes. Nice texturing on the bottom of the feet. You got the classic dew claw, which I'm not even sure if Ornithomimosaurs even had dew claws, if I'm going to be honest with you. They might, but my gut's telling me that they don't, so that might be an inaccuracy right there for the feet, but I'm not 100% sure, but I'm fairly certain that these guys did not have dew claws. But overall, really nicely done in the sculpt. Now, the one thing that doesn't scream Ornithomimosaur to me is just there's a lot of things kind of weird. The neck, I feel like, is a little bit too short to signify an Ornithomimosaur. It should be much longer, and it would have been cool if it was kind of in an S position or a more erected, rather than just kind of just sticking straight like that. But yeah, the neck should have been longer, and the head definitely needs to be a bit smaller. It's definitely pretty large in terms of the body proportions. And probably the worst thing about this figure is that they gave this dinosaur teeth. See, this is why this would have worked perfect as some sort of Troodon or another different type of theropod. But they gave an Ornithomimosaur teeth. Now, obviously, that's incredibly inaccurate because these dinosaurs did not have teeth. They were toothless. They just have beaks for the most part, where they would, snip plants. And a lot of times I see people say that there could have been omnivores, so eating things whole. But I don't know. That kind of bugs me that they gave this dinosaur teeth, because this dinosaur for sure did not have any teeth. But, you know, it is what it is. The teeth look pretty nice, though, for the most part, for your standard, Frenzy Pack figure. But nicely painted, though, too. But it's just wrong for this type of dinosaur. So that's probably the only thing I dislike the most. Second thing I probably dislike is just the certain proportions that what makes an Ornithomimosaur that type of animal. But Yeah, don't really like the teeth on it, but colors wise, I really do like the colors. It's like this really nice foresty colors, which will work really well in a forest environment. I like the brown head, makes it stand out, and the really bright green with the black slit pupil. And you got this light green, yellowish color for the lower jaw. And I think that same color, actually no, it's different. You got a little stripe here on the back right here that's kind of like a lime green a little bit. Kind of more of a yellowish mustard green, I guess. But everything else is all like this kind of like pale-ish, kind of like this forest green color. But it looks really good though. Obviously, you know, the colors could have been applied a bit better where it kind of felt a bit more complete. But overall, I really do like the color choices on this figure. And then the inside of the mouth, the teeth are nicely painted. And I like how some of the insides of the mouth are nicely painted in like this gummy, fleshy color. Even the tongue looks like it has a little bit of a gloss on it, kind of giving it like that wet saliva look. So that's really cool. And I don't think I mentioned this, but the nostrils are pretty nicely sculpted on there as well. But yeah, the sculpt wise, like the detail is great. The colors I really like. It's just those certain things I don't like about this figure that's kind of holding it back. Because I would have loved to get more Archaeornithomimuses to build like another flock of a different species. But when they all kind of look like this, I'm not even sure. But who knows? Maybe Mattel will fix it and give us a brand new one later on in the future. I don't know. In terms of articulation, as we saw before, you got jaw articulation, so that's pretty nice. The neck articulation, this joint right here that connects to the body, just pretty much goes down about that far. So you got some nice, you know, eating or drinking poses, and it can look up, looking at danger or something. Would have been nice if it had like a head joint so you can make it look, you know, in different directions, and including this neck joint. The arms pretty much swivel 360 forward and backwards. I really like the claws and the feathers in this one, so that's something I really do like for sure. And the legs pretty much just go forward and backwards, your standard articulation, and then you got the tail swivel. So that's pretty much it for these basic dinosaurs. Not a whole lot in terms of articulation, but enough to be satisfied for another cool little dinosaur species. And you also got the scan code. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this little figure. For comparisons, we'll compare it with a human figure. Here we just got a random mercenary. They actually complement really nicely with each other with the color choices and everything, with the colors of his outfit and this dinosaur. I'm not familiar with how big Archaeornithomimus was, so this might be accurate. It might not be, but for an ornithomimosaur, it works pretty perfect. Fits really well with the rest of the Gallimimuses. And actually, speaking of Gallimimus, here we have our Gallimimus. So here we go. Currently, our two Ornithomimosaurs from Mattel, and you can just tell just how different these two are. It really should have looked something like this, with a long, skinny neck, tiny head, super long legs, but this is the one that Mattel gave us instead. So it really does not scream Ornithomimosaur at all. But here we go, our two current Ornithomimosaurs, and hopefully we'll get more in the future, because I would love to get more species. And I'll just go ahead and throw in your normal like attack pack Gallimimus, just so it feels right at home with this frenzy pack one, since they're kind of similar in size and come in like the same type of assortment of smaller figures. But as you can see, this one's not going to stand very well. But yeah, you can definitely tell how similar maybe they are. See, the neck should have been kind of like this. Long, skinny, tiny head. You can just see how massive the bottom one's head is compared to the other one. But really cool how to compare both of these together, in my opinion. Actually, another type of like attack pack size Gallimimus is this one. And even I would have been okay with something like this for the Archaeornithomimus. You know, have it stand straight up and neck all the way up instead of like this crouching position. But as you can see here, they're pretty similar. Not really though, but it's cool to have two Ornithomimosaurs, even if they don't look like it, I guess. But yeah, that's pretty cool to compare these. Alrighty, so everyone, that's about to wrap it up for this kind of quick review. Overall, I like this figure. I mean, it's not perfect. like I said, it just does not represent Archaeornithomimus or just an ornithomimosaur in general at all. So hopefully Mattel can fix that moving forward with other future species. But overall, just having a new species added to the collection, that is a plus right there. And I like the feathering and the colors, so that's also a plus. I mean, I recommend it if you're someone that wants to collect all the species. But if you're focusing on accuracy, then I recommend probably skipping out on this one. That's just my honest opinion. But I like to collect all the species. And yeah, I have to get this one. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about this little figure. So please, everyone, like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about this figure in the comments. And I'll see you guys again for the next video.